Two things that are good to remember about epoxy. One, when it says sets in 5 minutes, like this one does, that really means 5 minutes. And this one's actually a little quicker than that. So I suggest getting the sets in 10 minutes kind, which I don't have, because that gives you a lot more time to work. The other thing that you want to remember is when you put this little cap on, remember how you put it on, because when the yellow part mixes with the clear part, it sticks, and it sticks really well. A lot better than super glue. So if you do like I do and remember the instructions are on the back, and the little divot in the cap is faced towards the back, just remember that, you are less likely to permanently glue shut your epoxy. Alright, the best thing I've found for mixing up epoxy before you use it is just a little wooden stick. You can buy them by the bag. Here are the kind that I use. Skinny stick. Skinny sticks. There's about 1 million in there. And to make it easier, I usually trim off a bit at the end just to give myself more of a point. It's not vital, but it helps a little bit. Just a little point. Now, you take your epoxy, little plastic container. Most people recommend disposable ones. These aren't really disposable, but if you let the epoxy dry in there, you can break it out later with a knife. It pops right off. So you squeeze a bit out, yellow and white at the same time, into the little dish. That's way more than I need, because I'm only doing 2 legs, well, 1 leg and 1 arm. Remember the cap, little divot towards the back. I'm not going to glue it shut. Mix up your epoxy with your stick. If you're in a real bind, I guess you could break off a pencil, but I wouldn't use metal. My little knife has some epoxy on it that I just can't seem to get off. But for some reason it comes right out of this little dish. You just mix up the epoxy until it's a nice uniform looking glob of yellowish clear goo. You grab up, this is my leg, left leg. Dab some onto said left leg. We're gonna do a lot this time because we know what happened last time and we didn't appreciate it. That's way more than I'd normally use, but I'm a little paranoid now. And working down in there. It's a lot easier when it hasn't already broken once. The first time it just went right in. This time we're having to work for it. Just in far enough that it kind of matches the other one. Which, if you look, is pretty good. But we don't have time to stop and chat because we only have like 4 minutes left. And we don't know how much trouble the arm is going to be. Lots of it. Stupid amounts of it. There. Just a big old glob. Okay. And got a big glob coming off of it, which I'm going to aim inside. Preemptive. The shoulder is a little easier. I was a little more careful when I was drilling that out. See, I'm rushing. Always rushing. And they're just about the same length. And there you go. Right there is one repaired stop animation wire in socket armature. There are other kinds of armatures. The very best is a machined armature, but they're very hard to make. The very worst is just a twisted wire armature, which is basically this shaped like something with a bunch of crap stuck on it. You don't want to use those because they're just lazy. When I finish this guy, he's going to have feet that stick on right here, more feet right here, hand right here, hand right here, and his stage will have holes drilled through it. This isn't the stage, but the stage is made of the same plywood. So if I want him to stand, he can stand, and his feet will be held down by screws coming up through the stage. And that's how absolute utter non-professionals do this. I couldn't tell you how pros do it because I haven't learned that yet. Alrighty, I hope this was in some way useful to somebody. I didn't make a video of actually building the armature because it took literally days, and I did half of it at my office, which I'm not allowed to bring camera into. But that's repairing a wire and socket armature that falls apart while you're doing something for class with it, and hopefully I won't do it again. The next time you see this guy will either be him walking around with hands and a head and no body, or no coverings, or, and this is what I prefer, him walking around with foam layered on top of this, fur glued to it, and latex skin. And if I'm really good, a face that has facial features. We'll see.